We're going to show you a simple method of clipping your Angora's wool off. It's a very simple procedure. It usually takes about 10 minutes, a very effective way of harvesting the wool. Usually the rest of the world does clip their Angoras. Their commercial Angoras are always clipped. You may want to clip your Angora for any number of reasons. One of the reasons is because your Angora may have wool block and you want to get rid of the coat and the Angora is not ready to pluck yet. So you can clip off the wool very quickly so the rabbit doesn't ingest any more wool while you're trying to treat it. The second reason you may want to clip your Angora is because you may have a show Angora. It may have already 1-2 legs, but the coat is now dead and you need a new coat. So if you want it to come in, grow in evenly and a beautiful distribution, then it's better to clip the wool so that you don't lose any of the density from plucking. The third reason might be that you have the naked molting type of rabbit, so that when you pluck it, it completely loses all its wool down to the bare skin. If you want to harvest the winter coat and you don't want to expose this rabbit to the bitter cold with the naked skin, then you would clip it, and it would still have enough wool to keep it warm during the winter. And of course, the fourth reason why you would want to clip your Angora is if you have a non-molting Angora, such as the German Angora. The commercial Angora should not be plucked. It's an animal that is bred to be clipped, and if you do pluck it, you can injure the hide and lose up to 30% of your density each time that you pluck it. Now, these are the tools that we use in clipping our Angora. The first one, which is indispensable and which we have to become expert with, is the Oster clipper. This is the Oster clipper with its foot up, and it must be kept in good condition, oiled. Usually people who clip dogs, animals like this, get their clipper done every 6 months. Depending on how much you use it, you will have to have your clipper reconditioned. These are your blades. You will use an 8.5 blade. I usually use a 10 or a 5. These are all good blades that you can use for various reasons. We also have a shears, and we use the shears because there are spots on the rabbit where you're not going to be able to use the clipper, so you need a shears. This is the little brush. The brush is used to keep the Angora blade clean. A lot of times the blade will get clogged, and you'll need to use the brush to clean out the wool from the blade. Now, the blade is stainless steel and the wool is wool. So if your blade is clogging and not cutting, it's either that the blade is clogged with wool or you need some oil, or the blade is not sharp. This is the oil, WD-40, that we use if the clipper starts dragging or making a funny noise. You can use any good oil, lubricating oil. Cool lube is good. But you'll definitely need it during the clipping process, especially if you're going to clip more than 6 at one time. Because we're going to do a physical on the rabbit, we clip the toenails at the same time that we do the clipping. Check the ears and the nose, the eyes, and clip the toenails. We also use 2 brushes. This is a very soft brush we use after the rabbit is clipped to take away all the extra wool. This is a very hard brush if you want to use it to pull out any kind of mats. We use cotton balls because we clean the oil vent of the rabbit, and the cotton balls are great for that. Now, also we have labels. Some people you're going to keep track of when you have harvested this wool. These little labels you can put right on the feeder and just put the date, and you'll know that that's the time the rabbit was harvested. Or if you want to keep 3 or 4 harvests on it, you can use a larger label. We're going to harvest. Part of harvesting the wool is to keeping track of which is the first, second class, and third class wool. So we use the Marks-a-Lot, we use the baggie. You write across the baggie with the Marks-a-Lot first class wool. And I use the big number 10 can, and you have 3 or 4 of these, and as you're harvesting from the animal, you keep putting your class wool in each can. When you have finished 2 or 3 cans of first class wool, and you want to put them into the larger bag, then you put each wool of certain kind in the larger bag for harvest. Then we also have here a little first aid equipment, because when you are working with a lot of rabbits, sooner or later you're going to clip one or you're going to cut one. Not to worry, they heal very, very quickly, but it's nice to have something on hand. I use Mediquick, a first aid spray. I have other people who use antibiotic ointments. Any of this is good. The Mediquick is if you make a little tiny nick, an eighth of an inch or fourth of an inch, just put some Mediquick on it. If you make a larger, if you should happen to cut the rabbit an inch or more, you may want to sew it up. Just get a needle, a nice strong darning needle with some black thread, and put 3 or 4 stitches in it. And then I usually put some Nitrex on it. You can buy this at your veterinarian store, at your feed store. The Nitrex is a nice yellow ointment, and it keeps any kind of infection from forming. And rarely does it form, but I usually pull the rabbit out if I do nick it the second or third day and check it and clean it and treat it again. And then we do have the pencil, because you're always going to be marking in your book somewhere. You may want to keep track of how much wool you've gotten. You can have a scale. Whatever your harvesting requirements are, you've got to keep your records there. So this is the equipment you'll be needing. And now we'll get the rabbit. I shouldn't look up though, should I? All right, here we are with Brunhilde. Brunhilde is a 2-year-old German Angora of the Z line, and she has got an 84-day coat on. You can see she's got beautiful texture, beautiful density, and all the same length. She's got close to 3 to 5 inches here. And this is all going to be first-class wool. So the first thing we've done with Bruni is we have given her a little brush. She's never been brushed before. This is the first time, and we've just brushed her a little bit and parted her hair right down the center. And we've combed her a little bit, and we brushed her ears. When you get ready to clip a rabbit has to cooperate with you when they're being clipped. So the first thing they have to learn is that when they go on the clipping table, that they're not going to move. Brunhilde knows this because she's been clipped many times before. But when you're first starting out, if you have a little buck who's very, very spunky and moving around, you put them on the table and just put your hand over their head and push them down and hold them. And each time they start wiggling, you do this until they learn that they're not to move when they get onto the table. Now we're going to take our bag, and we're going to mark our bag first class German Angora. This is going to be first class. It's going into here. The second class is going into the second bag. And we're going to take our clipper. This is the leg of the clipper, and we're going to begin with an 8 blade. Put it down, and then you have to turn on the clipper to reposition it. Now the first part we're going to do to get first class wool is we're going to clip her from her hips to her shoulders on each side. We start very, very easily. Put the clippers right into the curve here. Keep it very close to the skin, and very, very, very slowly go down. Now we're not in any great hurry. No, 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 no. So we go slowly. If you come to a lump, don't try and clip over the lump. What you're going to do is hold on to the skin and pull the skin up to you. And as you were working here, see, this wool is coming off, and this wool goes into the bag. It's all the same length, ready to spin. And we continue. You don't want to take a second cut, so you just go very, very slowly and very, very evenly. Keep your clipper at exactly the right angle. And move your ear, Brunhilde. Just take little swipes. You shouldn't be going more than 1/4 of an inch each time you go down. Hold the skin taut, and when you come to a shoulder, pick up the skin and bring the skin to the razor. You don't have to try and go over a bone because you can't shave over bones. Men can tell you that. I'm going to go down on her side very, very slowly. See how it's falling away. You go a little bit of sideways here and down. Again, taking away the wool. Put it into your container. See, none of this is matted. This is all beautiful, ready to spin wool. Now we're going over the shoulder. You have to lift it up a little bit. Take a little tension on it. And always keep your razor so that it's sliding very easily into the wool. There we are. Pull out what we've got here. You see how that's coming along? Again, we pick up the skin as we clip. I think we should probably take a still of this right here. There we go. And then again, pick up the skin. And keep the razor should always just slip right down the bed of the razor like this, over the skin of the rabbit. And take it right down to the sides, hold the skin tight, and pull the skin toward the razor so the razor hits a very taut skin. There we go. I'm going to pull this off. And into the bag. Now if you get some small stuff, which is a little bit shorter, that goes into the second bag. Now we've done about half. We've got another area right here. And if you go down on the sides, you're going to find the nipples if you pull it up too much. So sort of check and see where the nipples are so that we don't clip them. All right. This is enough on this side. So you see how we are. She's here half bare on one side and ready to clip on the other side. That's a good girl, Brunhilde. Now we're going to do the other side the same way. Just very easily clip from the seam down. Very slowly, pulling the skin. Keep it taut. Going down toward the hips. Very slowly. That's a good girl. Now, look at this beautiful wool. How about that? Yes, that's a good girl. Just pull out what you need. Now we're going to continue. Time to do a little bit of brushing out of our razor here. Pull up the skin. And again, we're going over the shoulder and picking up the skin. This is a skill that you learn by doing. Not too difficult, anybody can do it. Can we have the rest of this wool, huh? You don't want this, do you? Now this is your long first class wool. Let's move you back just a little bit, darling. I think you've come up here. And just sort of thread your fingers in and comb out the wool that you have clipped and leave it with the wool that has to be clipped. If you get shorter wool toward the front here, then put that into the second class wool. Now we're going to carry it down on underneath. There's a few tangles over here, so rather than put that in this first class, I'm going to put that in the second class group of wool. Okay, now we're going to do the back, and on the back we go sideways because it's very difficult to go over this hump. So we're going to go firmly on the side like this. You should have a still of this, too, of the going sideways on the back. And let me get a little cool lube because my razor is running hot. Now this is a difficult spot back here because the rabbit tends to be very, very dense. And if you cut up so that you leave about 1/4 of an inch, don't try and go back and cut it shorter because you're going to have a second cut. Just try and bear down where you are and go slowly. With so much density, it's going to take you a little bit of time. We're not in a race. See, there we are with this beautiful first-class wool. Now see down here, some of it's rather short, and we're not going to be using that. We're down here to her flanks, so let's cut some of this from her flanks off. And don't pull. If you ever pull the wool, that's when you can cut them with the scissors. So put the scissors just even with the body and just give it a little clip. There we are. And this wool we're not going to keep. It's a little bit cottony from being dirty. Do some clipping here. And again, you're not going to go back. You're going to do one clip with your scissors. You can do this with the clippers, but a lot of times it's easier when it's this dense, the scissors. Okay, and this is a mixture of first and second class. There's a little second class down here. I think this is the first class wool here. And this we're going to put in the second class bag. The second class wool is just a little bit shorter. It runs 2 inches, 2.5 inches and under, and your first class wool is going to run 3 inches and longer. So we're clipping down here. There we go. If your German angora is going to mat at all, this is where it will mat, here and underneath, of course. But again, you see how lovely that wool is? Well, most of that is first-class wool. And we're getting a rabbit down underneath all this. Now we have a little bit right here on the shoulders we're going to try and get off. We're going to try now to go down and do the bib. You see she has a tremendous bib and a tremendous shoulder amount there. So if you can't do it on the first time while the rabbit is right side up, a lot of times you can turn them over and it's much easier that way. So we're going to try and do a little bit this way and then the rest the other way. Clip a little bit along the sides here. Again, don't pull. Just feel what you're doing and very slowly clip away. And this is like third or fourth class wool. Great to stuff things with. We don't use it for weaving, for spinning. Okay, now we're going to go down the side here. Again, this is some sharp stuff, so we're going to throw that away. That was left from before. We're going to hold on to the skin and ever so slowly clip. Now can you see how we're clipping through to her bib and holding, going down the one leg. Now because Brunhilde is so cooperative, we're going to try and go underneath and see if we can do the bib here. Most rabbits hate to have their bibs clipped. I'm going to go down the leg here. Okay, can we get a still of this? That's it. As I said, most rabbits hate to have their bibs clipped. Here we are, but we've got some nice first-class wool here. We're going to put into our first-class bag. The bib can be first-class because a lot of times it will grow quite large. We have some wool here. We'll put that in the second-class bag. And there looks like a little nick here, so we're going to how are we doing, dear? As you can see, we're reducing her down. Hold still, hold still. All right, we're still going to go try and go underneath the bib. We're going to clean the clippers again. Go down a little bit more on the foot and come underneath here. There we are. You're going to let us come underneath here? There. Put that in the second class. And now we'll do the other side. Same way. Start here at the back of the neck. Now sometimes you can get some mats at the back of the neck, right between the ears, because the rabbit can't wash herself too well there. So you just clip those away because we don't want those to get in our way. You need a nice smooth place where you can see the clip. And let's turn her around. And you can see us clip the, there you go. Clip the bib on this side. Holding the skin taut. Pull it up a little bit. You go down bit by bit, very slowly. Hold it tight. Going under the neck again. Now pick up this wool. So you've got nice wool here again. Now because she's got a lot of loose skin down here, I'm just going to pull the end of the skin, pull this wool off. And this will go into the second class. Okay. Now I think we are ready to turn our rabbit over. Clean her up a little bit here. That's a good girl. Now, we're going to take her, and the first thing we're going to do when we turn her over, talk to her a little bit, tell her everything is fine. I think we can do one more swipe down this side. Now she's letting us go under her chinny chin, which is very nice of you, dear. Yes. This is short. We're not going to want that. All right. That's a good girl. Now we're going to turn her upside down. Very gently so she knows what's happening. Yes, dear, we're going to go upside down. Yes, lay down. Now we talk to her a little bit. Yes, because again, she's had this done before, and we want her to cooperate. Yes, this is nothing horrible. See, and her bib is basically already clipped. And we're going to put her like this. Put her hand over. No. Wait. What's the matter, darling? What's the matter? Let me... I've got a little bit of, right here, a little clip. Okay, come on, turn over. We're going to turn you over. Yes, put your head down. That's it. Be a good girl. Now, we can clip right here, locate the two nipples, put her hands over the nipples, and we're going to clip horizontally if she's going to cooperate. What's the matter? Come on. Bruni, what's the matter? Huh? You don't want to be upside down, dear? Come on. Be a good girl and behave. Lay down. All right, since she doesn't want her bottom done, we're going to do the top first, because she can look me in the eyes and I can talk to her more. It's all right. No, come on. Bruni, sit down. Come on. Oh dear, that's it. Hold still. Shh. All right, now we have the legs. And again, we can use the razor on the legs. Come up this way. There we go. And we're going to clip her chops a little bit. Hold her head very firmly when you do this. And we're going to clip her underneath her chinny chin. And she got snagged with the razor right here, which happens sometimes. You see the red spots. So we're going to put a little squeezer here. That's it. All right. Are the lights too hot for you here, darling? Okay, hold still. Hold still. Now we have right here, we're going to take this off, goes sideways. Again, I've got my eye on her nipples, so I know where they are. And a lot of times this wool can either be matted or not matted. You never can tell. And we're going to cut the rest of this off. There we go. That's some nice first class wool. And then we're going to take her little paw right here. And I usually just clip this. The wool's not good for anything. It's only a first class. But you're going to want the rabbit completely clipped so that she can't get any long hair. Then you will know that she's going to have a good 20 days without any wool. And you can clean out her intestines very, very well that way by giving her lots of rumpage to eat at this time. Now, holding her little paw out over here, we're going to go across the chest, under her arm. And again, watch the nipples because they have 2 nipples up here. There we are. See, she's just about clear across the chest now. We're going to do this side. And you're going to be done up here, yes. There's some nice unmatted first class wool. Put that in there. And now all we have is this side. Clip the on the side of her paw over here. There we go. Now we have the top part done. That's a good girl. That's a very good girl. All right, now the top is clear. We can do a real quick brush on these. Oh, all right, all right. All right, we're half done. We're half done. Rabbits don't particularly like being upside down. So after you've done the front end, or the back end, I usually do the back end first, but after you've done one end, turn them up and let them recover themselves a little bit. Clean your brushes. Clean up the extras. See, is she beginning to look like a shorn rabbit here, right? What is that, dear? Okay. We're going to do it on the back. Come on. Now, turn you upside down. Come on, darling. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's do this side. Right. Lay down. Lay down. I know. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. You're a very good girl. All right, let's put her head on the carpet. Yes, I know you want your head on the carpet. Just lay down. Just lay down. That's a good girl. Okay. Okay, now we are at the posterior. And the first thing we're going to do is cut this area between the back leg and the tail. And you put your fingers here so that you can feel where the flesh is and where the wool is. And usually this wool is dirty or stained, so you're not going to want to keep it. Just trim it off. Then the tail, I like to trim my tails and keep them sharp too. So you put your fingers down the tailbone and feel it. And then clip on both sides, throw away the wool. If you wanted to keep this wool, now this is her back feet, and it's of course a rabbit that goes to be 12 pounds. You want it to have good foot pads, and this grows to be about 2 inches long, and I cut it to about 1 inch. Never cut it all the way down to the bottom because you don't want them to have troubles with their foot pads. And on the top, again, I trim it to about 1 inch. It's winter in California, but it's still only going to get about 40 degrees. And we're going to clip her toenails here. We can see the white part coming off of the red part. And if a toenail is black, which shows that it's got a fungus infection, then we're going to treat it with iodine. But her nails are all nice and healthy. Here's her back skirts. We're going to clip those off. They only gather dirt. Okay, put your foot out. See how nice and cooperative she is? And down the side here. Okay, okay. Tickles, tickles, tickles. Now we're going to do the other foot. Yeah, that's nice. And again, we're going to start cutting off leave her about 1 inch underneath her foot. And try and keep her even. And it's very important to cut the toenails. If they get in the rabbit's way, they can ruin the way the rabbit walks and contribute to sore hocks. You don't want them turning different ways because they're not there. See, that's a nice little foot. And this wool doesn't grow much more than 1 inch. So you can stuff pillows with it. You can make teddy bears and stuff them. You can use it for felting. It's marvelous wool to felt with. But as far as spinning, I don't think you'd be wanting to use it for anything. And again, we hold the scissors completely sideways. Never turn them up. Never pull the wool because you'll pull the skin up with it. There we are. Got this back foot, and again, we'll throw away this wool. Clip it on the inside here. And now we're going to clip between the tail and the back of the leg. You feel with your fingers where it is, and just pull it off. And there's the tail. There's another blob of wool here, so that we can see the contour of the rabbit very clearly. Side of the rabbit here. The back skirts we're going to clip off. And along the side here. Now we've got a nick here where we'll treat, but that's a good girl. Just a second now. We're going to clip this wool off right here, just with the clippers, and just go straight down. And since the nipples are on either side, you don't have to worry, but when you've got nipples, tilt your clipper up a little bit, so it's going to leave a little space. I'm going to go all the way to the end. Pull this out. That's a good girl. There's a little bit on this side right here. Now we can come down on this one foot. You can do this by hand, depending on how good you are with the clipper. Go down one leg and then the other side like this. There we go. this spot that's up here. We'll clip this. Trim her a little bit right here. And along here. Now we get back to the back area, and we're going to clip in front of the vulva and the rectum, because we want that space clean too. No. Well, I don't blame you. Are you getting restless, darling? Huh? Are you getting restless? Okay. We're almost finished. Come on, just let mommy finish. Can I finish? Lay your head down like a good little girl. That's it. Everything is fine. There's nothing to worry about. Right, we've done this before. Okay. I'm going to go sideways here and sideways here. And of course, you're going to be very careful what you're cutting here. With a little girl, you can make a V in the front. With a little boy, you have to be careful. And on both of the rabbits, it's very important with these long hair breeds that they be kept clean back here. I have the cotton balls, and her oil vents are right here. Can you focus in on the oil vents right here? And you can see her oil vent is filled, so it needs to be cleaned out. So once every 83 days we take this and clean it out so that it stays clean. That's it. Otherwise they get all dried out. And supposedly the rabbit becomes more sterile because it's not secreting as much oil. So if you keep it clean, you're going to keep your rabbit fertile. There we are. All right, can you see the oil vents on the side? And you can see her vulva, she's nice and rosy. We'll take her home and mate her tonight after she's been clipped. There we go. And do a little bit on the side of the tail. Now, turn up. That's it. And there you are. We'll go over and brush her once more, just to get any loose wool that we have. And I can see she's got a little whisker over here she doesn't need, so we'll take off that little whisker. There we are. And there you have the German Angora. Now pose pretty for them. Pose pretty and show them how pretty you are. You see? She's very docile at this point. She's just going to lay here. But there. There she is. Fade. Are we through? I can't believe I cut her 4 times. So nervous. Here is our second class harvest. And usually in my herd, the second class can run 3 ounces. That's the second class. This is the first class wool, and it runs at least 7 ounces. I expected about 10 ounces of wool from a harvest every 84 days, 86 days on the German Angoras. This is Siegfried. This is the 2 other harvests from Brunhilde, and of course we have at least 6 or 7 ounces of small stuff down in the wastebasket, which you could save and use for felting if you wanted. So, as you see, it's very, very simple to harvest your wool. You can harvest 8 to 10 rabbits a day if you want.